4,
4, 3,
3,
2,
2,
1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second live stream from the Code Quest, from the Blender 2.8 Code Quest, live from Amsterdam. It's 6:30 p.m. We are here
After
together.
a long week of work.
Yes.
Week is done.
The week is done, so okay, let's introduce ourselves because there is like 1,000 more people in the channel than last week. So my name is Pablo Vazquez.
My name is Dalai Felinto.
And we're here to show you all the latest and greatest news in the Blender 2.8 Code Quest and in Blender 2.8 in general, not only happening here in Amsterdam, but in general in Blender itself. So it's been quite the week.
It's been the 4th week, first month of the Code Quest.
It's over. We are 1/3.
But it is. I mean, Julian
Yes.
left after the 2nd week. Joshua stays only 4 more weeks.
Yes.
You know, in another month is the World Cup, so the productivity might go down a little bit.
You think? They're
I don't know. Some of the matches are during the lunch hour,
yes.
but the match is 1 hour and some.
And a half, yes.
So
will be
see. It's gonna be fun.
This is live, so please, if you're in the chat, leave us a question. You can add Blender developers, the channel, and then it will highlight in the chat. So then at the end, in the second half of the show, we're going to be reading the questions and then answer. It is a Q&A mainly, but first we want to go through what happened this week, what's new.
A lot of things new.
A lot of things. So what was...
From the end to the beginning, maybe.
Yes.
Well, first we have a lot of new videos on the Blender developers, thanks to you.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's really nice to have not only that many developers, but that many eyes on the work you're doing here. And it's so nice to have this so well documented. I think for the future, it's going to be so nice to look back at what you did here and how we did it together.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the latest videos, go check it out. The same YouTube channel you are now. If you're on Twitch, go to YouTube and find the work there.
Yes,
Yeah, are
we're
we
not
Twitching?
streaming on Twitch
Oh,
yet.
yeah, sorry.
Blender today streams on Twitch, but not Blender
Yeesh.
developers yet.
My bad.
Okay,
so
it's a
we
nice
had
plug for Blender today. Though.
We had a lot of videos. We also had we start with what Vazquez just did. So the static
The
override
latest, yes.
finally merged in 2.8. What is static override, Pablo?
Actually, I just made a video about it. So what if I just show it? Because I mean, it's nice to make videos every day. This week we have videos every day, except Monday. But I made 2 videos today with this one, so
This one included, yeah.
that counts. So it's nice to make so many videos. But then are people like able to follow? Like I know in Blender Nation there was like 1 out of the 4 that we made. So people maybe are not up to date. Imagine.
Are people following the channel and adding the notification bell?
Oh yeah, you should
That's
do
the
it. So
point.
then you get an email whenever we publish new stuff. But
But I know your point is you shouldn't. It's hard. You don't want to be overwhelming.
no, we don't want to.
I think people are. Maybe people can tell us better, but I think people love what we're doing here.
with the
think
update. So the big update. Actually, I wanted to do it yesterday. I wasn't planning on making a video today. I wanted to make it yesterday because it was like quite the big thing. But it was working on a cube, on a Suzanne, it was working like for the developer. Yeah, it's working. But then I was like, well, can we try it on something that's a bit more advanced, on a blend file that has been used in production. So what is the simplest production we have in Blender, in the Blender cloud? Something that it's open content, can be used by anyone. And that is the DWIPs, the daily DWIPs, the short movie animated and directed
and
by Hjalti Hjalmarsson. It's one shot, basically. It's one shot, same camera, 3 characters. So it was a good candidate. We picked one of the characters, Dixie, and it had some parenting issues. So okay, let's try something else. We tried the chicken, and it was almost there. There was a crash yesterday in the dependency graph that Sergey, our own Russian doctor, fixed today. So it was like at 4 p.m. or so, and
the logo is
Bastian.
in front of me. Sorry.
Huh?
Carry on. the logo is in front of me. So, but carry on.
Okay, I can. You don't like it? Okay, there you go.
No, it's okay.
You're gone. All right. Also, yeah. So Bastian came also excited. He's like, yeah. The chicken from the daily with the dweebs is now working. So immediately grabbed my camera and he's like, okay, let's do it.
Is it intentional that in the video you get to see the weebs in the background?
It may or may not be intentional, but there is a plug here. Maybe that's what actually. When we were thinking which character to use, I saw the daily do's and let's use it. And also because this short movie wasn't rigged by the same rigger that we use for all the open movies, which is blend rig. It's Juan Pablo Bosa, the rigger, but it uses blend rig, which is amazing, but it's such a high level of a rig that it was a bit of a stress test. And actually, Bastien was testing the system with that one, and I think it's great that it was tested with that because the armature has over 3,000
Bones.
3,000 bones. Yeah. So it's a good stress test. If Blender can link and make a proxy or a static override, how they're called now, of such a advanced rig, then it would work. So then we started humble with the chicken, and it works. What is static override, if you could sum it up?
Well, in a way, it's a proxy for everything. You know how in 2.7, if you wanted to have multiple instances if you wanted to link a content from a different file, you'd have to create a proxy, and it would only work for armatures. And you could only have one instance of the same armature per file, and otherwise you cannot have each one with its own action curve and everything.
It was so limiting. Yeah. In Caminandes, we have the same penguin many times in the last one, and we had to make penguin 1, penguin 2, penguin 3. They're all the same.
In Sintel, you did that. I remember watching Sintel tutorials, and the scene on top of the ziggurat. Oh, yeah. We have the flying birds or chickens, I don't know what they are, dragons. There's a whole tutorial on how they duplicate, each one, and then you can have multiple versions of the same object in the file. Luckily, this is in the past now. So with static override, you can pretty much just take the file, you link it, you make a local, you call a static override, so a local version of the file, but it's a non-destructive version of the file. So you can just change the action curve, you can move the object in a different place. And the nice thing is that it's no longer limited only for armatures. So anything that you can link, you can make it local with a static override.
You can override specific. So you, for example, you can link the chicken 5 times and change the color, the material color for each one of them, and it's the same blend file where it's coming from, same character, but it has different actions, different materials, different anything. That's amazing because the rest of the character stays linked. So if you decide to make the chicken twice as big, then and you save it, in this file you will get the chicken twice as big again because it's linked, everything is linked, but still you have the different materials, different actions.
Different modifiers even. That's the last thing Bastien did before merging today.
Yes.
Is support multiple constraints, which was already supported in the proxy system because of the one constraints, but also modifiers. So you can disable modifiers for the linked instance. You can also create new modifiers. It's really impressive. There are a lot of bugs that he acknowledged. Yeah. So we're gonna spend next week, make sure it's all working, and make sure we do a nice we call diversion, a nice backward compatibility. So old files that we're using proxy are just automatically converted to static override.
That's amazing. So you really can have different modifiers. So you have the same character twice, with one with soft surf whatever, the other one with the simple deform, with the solidify, with wow, that's crazy.
We also have more modifiers.
More modifiers. So this is, okay, enough with the static override, but a big topic in Blender 2.8 is the missing modifiers, but everybody says, where are my modifiers?
Eevee, I want Eevee with modifiers.
I want Eevee with modifiers. So last week we made one video. Last week we made a video about the first modifier being implemented by Sivren. It was the simple deform modifier. So that was the first one. How many do we have now?
Well, we should have taken a picture. We have in the wall all the way there. a list of all the modifiers and the ones that have been done, ticked in red. I think we're down to we have 7 or 8.
8 modifiers.
Let's say 10, just for
Yeah, so we have like more than a modifier per day.
yeah. And Sibren is working on this. Mai Lavelle is working on this.
Yes.
She's doing the not specifically tackling the modifiers, but the modifier stack.
Yeah.
So part of the implementation, so to be fast, because right now it's still you can port the modifiers individually, but overall you're still you need to change things in the code as a whole. Campbell did the wireframe modifier himself.
Nice.
He wanted to keep an eye on how the project was going, and I think it's gonna be fine.
Good. It's nice to have Mai helping remotely, because then it really the Code Quest has as a project here in Amsterdam has many developers, but actually Blender is developed online, so there's people helping from all over the world. That's amazing.
Speaking of which, it's already known that in the following month we're gonna have new developers joining us in the Code Quest.
Yes, I saw it.
Do you have it online to show?
There's always online. So if
So
you
if
go
you
to the Quest page, the Blender 2.8 Quest page, you can click on Meet the Team, or you can scroll all the way just to see. When people say, when is 2.8 gonna be released? It's here in the targets, just saying.
But you have to read.
But you have to read, just tell me on a tweet. Okay. The list of developers that were added thanks to the stretch goal, this is all thanks to reaching the stretch goal of 2,500.
Let's be cheesy. It's thanks to you.
It's thanks to you, the community. Well, everything is thanks to you. We are here thanks to you. This beer, thanks to you.
My rent being paid.
My rent being paid, yeah, but rent is secondary. Though the developers that were announced this week to join are 2 of them. Lucas Stockner, developer of cycles of all kinds of denoiser. He made a denoiser. He's gonna come over for 1 week in June
to work on
Udim.
Udim support.
Udim support in Blender.
What does it mean? Universal
Dim.
universal UV replacement.
If you know, let us know in the comments, and then we'll. But it's amazing. So it's like a kind of UV, but it's not UV. So it's for mapping textures, and it's very standard nowadays, even more than PTEX. PTEX was a good promise, but I think
I was mostly on Pixar.
Disney, yeah, Pixar, but
I think that's already a lot.
maybe Mari. I think Mari.
I think ZBrush. There was a beta version of ZBrush that supported PTEX.
Yeah,
but
I
I
think
remember
Udim is the way to go, and
people were already using Udim in Blender. The Wanderer, which is the file that's currently the splash screen of Blender 2.8,
yeah,
made by Daniel
Bysted.
It's using Udim. So there is a way for people to use Udim in Blender, which leads to really, really ugly node groups and node trees in the materials.
But not anymore. And when we get Lucas Stockner here, thanks to you. And this broke Tinder today. It was a trending topic. No, okay, maybe not. No. But
it's big.
It's huge. The legend, Jax Luke, developer of animation nodes, is coming for the Code Quest for 1 week in June. Late June. I think the 3rd or 4th week of June.
I thought Lucas was 2 weeks and in Jackie 1 week.
Maybe. It will be amazing. You will see videos about it.
We should know. We don't know.
You will know, and I will let you know when we are closer, because this is June. This is in the next month. But it's super exciting because it's animation now, right?
Have you seen the Tom has been talking about this add-on for so long, over a year at least.
Everybody, right? It's amazing. It's animation now.
It's really, really nice add-on. Is a paid add-on? I don't know.
No, it's free. It's not even in the market that I know. Source. It's free.
It's beautiful.
It's made from the heart.
Adds so much the pipeline for motion graph, for particles and effects. I never actually had to use it myself, but I saw so many nice results.
It's amazing. It even has a reel. It's like a life on its own. It's awesome. And
in my work as an inspiration for a not native implementation in Blender of everything nodes or
everything now. It would be awesome if it was in like actual
node
C
modifiers.
built in Blender would be awesome. But anyway, just having such a passionate developer here, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
I hope. Do you want to move here, Jax? You look at this. It's sunny. We have 25 degrees.
The misleading week, as we call it.
All right. So
Podcast
those
news?
are the 2 announcements of this week. Next.
Well, we have a lot of design tasks that we are publishing on the developer.blender.org.
Yes. by
And
William
people are
Range.
following these really, really closely.
Yes.
We see on Twitter, on Blender Artist, sometimes we visit there, and people, like 5 minutes after we post a new mockup, people are jumping on top of it and providing feedback, sometimes on like elsewhere, so we don't really get the feedback, but sometimes actually on our main website.
Yes.
And it's really so. This week we nailed design for yet more parts. So the view layer override is get a nice mockup. Have a mockup in Python even. It's on the fabricator we call it. The 3D cursor, multi-properties editing, bone selection design. This
Bone
for me is gonna be
selection
big.
for the Workbench engine, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
isn't this?
I don't know if it's there.
It's its own task. It's on task.
It's
So
its
basically,
own
the
task.
idea is try to see why a lot of animators have to resort to wireframes in their pipeline. And as far as we can tell, most of the times it's just so they can have a handy way to select bones, which are included by the geometry. So we're trying to think, given that they have a whole way of drawing things in 2.8, have a new overlay design, new overlay system, how could we reimagine this workflow so that people get the best out of Blender? And everyone's invited to check the mockups. It's now in your screen.
Yes.
It's also in the developer.blender.org.
Developer.blender.org. You can't get it more transparent than this. You can't say it's.
And a lot of the things we publish, they're not final. We are using the public open communication channels, even for our internal communication. 'Cause that's the mission here, anyways.
Yes, that is something that I think is so important that like if I want to show something to Dalai, a mockup or whatever, I put it on the website for him to check, even though we're sitting like 2 meters from each other.
apart.
I think that is great. That's how it should be. Just put it out there. Just put it online.
And then what do we have there?
This is a mockup for the Workbench engine
For
in
edit mesh.
Edit mesh. Yes, there was one for object mode with shadows, the sharp shadows from the Workbench engine, which are pretty cool.
We also see an overlay of the
Wireframe.
no, it's the look dev. If you think
The look
about this,
dev. Oh
this
yeah,
sphere
yeah. The sphere down here,
in
like
the
some
leftmost corner.
rightmost.
Oh, it's hard to.
Oh
Left.
yeah.
I don't know.
Just we can point the screen like the YouTubers do. Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
There.
Okay, next. There is also for the Workbench engine. There is there's some nice mockups to choose which type of lighting you're using, which type of overlays you're using, and also the HDR for the lighting that you're using.
I love how William went totally over the top with these
With the
semi-diffuse and translucent.
Translucent, yeah, a bit too Apple-ish.
Pop up.
But it's
I don't think
or
it's
like
global, but-
Windows Vista had it. I mean, it's not Apple.
But it's hard to do. I don't think we'll have it.
No, but it's funny to see it. It's not gonna be like this. It's very hard, and it's also like making it fancy for no reason. And in a 3D software, you want speed. So, yes, don't worry. It's just a mockup. We want performance.
Yeah, we have both. We can have both. Don't worry. Because we
Performance.
keep saying that because we need to be fast for playback.
Yeah.
This is where you want to excel. So if you're not playing back, and you can really afford to be very, very fancy with the pop-ups.
What if I want 1 million vertices? Would this affect it?
Well, you want 1 million vertices that you can edit, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not editing the 1 million vertices, you can afford to go fancy on top of it. That's one of the directions we're taking. That said, we won't have this frozen glossy popover. I think implementation-wise, it's too much work. And it's not worth it.
It's like why even spend development time? Anyway, that said, There is, so there are mockups on the overlays that are going to be used, a bit of the layout as well, and there is something that is already implemented that I think I'm going to make myself big, just to say the news, that in Blender 2.8, you can optionally hide the 3D cursor. That is, okay, we broke YouTube, we're still live?
You know, we created one task only because of this. It's called the polemic experimental things we want to revisit before the official release of 2.8.
Yeah.
Because this is like topmost one.
But why is it such a big discussion? Because if you hide it, then the user opens a blend file that has the 3D cursor somewhere used as a pivot point, and maybe you don't you're not communicating what are you using for as a pivot point.
Do you know why you have a 3D cursor in the first place?
To set the pivot, and when you add a new object, where does it go?
Yeah, and I remember, I was asking today around that, and it seemed that when Tom first thought about the 3D cursor was the same way you go to the text editor, and you start typing, and you know exactly where your
it makes sense.
goes.
If you start typing, you want to know where is gonna go the text.
So if you're in the 3D space, you add a new object, you should have a way to know where it's gonna happen.
Yeah. That's why it's super useful. I don't know why people complain, because it doesn't exist in other apps. That's why they complain. But actually, once you get used to it, you say, okay, I want an object there. You just click on the surface. The 3D cursor is there. Add a sphere, and it's there. It's so handy. But yes, you should be able to hide it, because maybe if you're sculpting, you don't really need to have a 3D cursor, or
Texture painting.
or so many. Yeah, it's not always the best. But I like it because that open discussion about what if it could be improved. What if the 3D cursor could actually be something else?
This is where the whole 3D cursor discussion came from.
Because the 3D cursor is actually 2D, which is funny. It's a 3D in the 3D space, but it's 2D. So what if?
Yeah.
What if it could be 3D? So that way you can not only set the position, but also set the rotation. So maybe you can snap to the location, but also snap to the rotation of a face. So you have a face that is pointing in a different direction, you snap it, and then the 3D cursor is tilted. So every object that you add is pointing, and that would be
like a roof. It's like a really handy way to replace the current custom transformation.
Custom transform is good because they are stored in a blend file.
Yes.
And the 3D cursor, you click again and it will go away. But I think the custom transform right now, they're a bit hidden, and we should expose them more. But I think the 3D cursor will help that in a way to have, if you want something quick to snap to a rotation of a normal, you just add it and it should be fine. Yeah. You don't have to add a new transform. Anyway, I think we got
carried away a little bit.
We got carried away a little bit.
Maybe I can go very fast on the remaining accomplishments this week, because we just had our weekly meeting.
Yes, and we are reaching the half an hour, so we should get through all the new settings so you can answer the questions.
Eevee now has a new shadow setting, which is before we only have the one shadow quality for every single shadow, and now we can treat the sun shadow differently than the point shadow quality.
So the shadow quality is now per lamp. It could be per lamp.
We don't want to do it per lamp because in the future, we thought about that, but in the future we might want to have the array lamp cube map shadow. That's a name-ish.
That's a name.
You can find it at code.blender.org. We mentioned that like 1 year ago in one of the first Eevee posts. And then to do that, you do need the same one single setting for every single lamp. So we say, you know what, let's just split them, but not have them per lamp.
Yeah.
We thought about that, but...
with overrides.
Not per lamp, yeah. Mention the videos. Bract is working relentlessly on the unification of collections and groups. This is a big one.
This is also huge. Massive. So, yeah, I mean, last time was about the removals of stuff. This is not a removal, it's a replacement. The thing is that in 2.8, the concept of group and the concept of collections kind of clash, because a group, I don't know, what do you use a group for? To affect physics only to that group, to affect to use as a lighting for only that group, or to set the visibility group, like the new option in Eevee
For light probes,
for the
yes.
group, or to link from another scene a group. But it's having collections that is basically the same that a group, because there's a way to organize your scene and the object can be multiple collections. So it's basically the same concept. So we thought, why not just link the collection? When you have to set the limit the lighting for this amount for these objects, why not use a collection? In every case that you can think of, collections just make sense. So groups
Groups are gone. Not yet.
no, not yet. But I mean, what's the difference? Come on, they're just green in the if we get colored wireframes.
Don't mention that live.
No, sorry, okay. Anyway,
it's a big thing and it's taking some time because it implies that all the collections now can be instanced in different files, that we no longer have groups. So it changed a lot of the original design for 2.8, but it's in really good hands. I mean, it's in Brecht's hands.
it's Brecht. I mean, if you don't know Brecht,
You should. Brecht did
he made cycles.
made
just saying.
cycles single-handedly in one. And so we'll see. We should have by the end of next week, we should have a better update on this.
Yes, there will be a video.
Hopefully, a video. That's pretty much, and they have a lot of workbench updates, but I think this has been covered in the videos. We have the random objects desaturated nicely. We have the sunlight for the whole scene. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, which is the sharp shadows. It's a video that I also published a few days ago. It's the workbench sharp shadows. So basically, it's like instant anime. Bam.
Oh, that's the chicken you were talking about.
Yes, but you see here it opens in a T-pose because it wasn't working, but now it works. So
It looks so good.
there was a few days ago. It's amazing how Blender every day is like, this didn't work yesterday, but now it does.
We're not to mention different softwares here, but I come from an architecture background, and this is the kind of visualization that people be dying to use Blender for.
For architecture
so
visualization,
useful.
yes, yeah, but
So
definitely.
we have this kind of shadow. We have some solid color, which you can set per object already or per material, or the random colors. Some overlay engine. People will want to render out of the viewport.
People already
Can
want. If you
guarantee
read
that.
the comments, by the way, 7,000 views, and there is quite a few comments, 95 to be correct.
That's really good.
They
Let's get to
people
100.
love it. Yes. No. Leave a comment in the chat so we can reply it yet. So
And I think that was for the week of the
that
year.
was for the week.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you do?
What did I do? I actually wrote down. We also had a lot of bug fixes. I did some of them.
Look
So
at this.
2.8 much more stable, and since we now have not only one but 2.5 task forces for people willing to help the Blender 2.8 development. So we had the copyright task force, we have the multi-object task force, and something else. Ignore the something else. But we also wanted a way to keep track of the work, of the progress. So you can see in this website, we can make it public already. It's a stats.dalaifelinto.com.
Yeah, it's a test, but maybe we can put it somewhere else. But it's just fun to see this. So what you
It's
see
for
here.
ourselves every day at 2 o'clock in the morning.
What is
This is updated.
It updated.
Okay.
Nice. So anyway, you mentioned task force. It's because there
Isn't
is
it
so
some-
much work,
Yeah.
and it needs to be split in tasks. So each number, for example, copy on write. Copy on write is the importing basically every operator.
Every single operator in Blender. So
everything.
over 1,000. So
It was actually on 29. It was in April a few days ago. It was 1,090, and now there is only 943 left.
left reported, yes. This is one that people can help in all of them. If you want to go, you just go to our mailing list, or there are plenty of places to hear about that. So let's just people can help themselves.
We will make a video about this because you mentioned that it's not too hard to do, and it's we can use the help from other developers to join. So
We can even do some of them live. Like
Yes.
the multi-object task, I did 4 last night while watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. watch
Okay.
there and play. Yeah.
So maybe we can make a quick video about you fixing one and then telling other people to help with it. Because, for example, multi-object edit, multi-object, that's the new option in Blender 2.8.
Underrated for me. For me, this is gonna be one of the biggest things in 2.8. Well, besides Eevee.
No, I think no, it's not underrated.
I don't know. Are
If you
people using
look
it?
at the yeah. Well, I don't know if they're using it right now, but we made a video about it and it was super popular, like 12,000 views, and
many
besides
comments?
people, yeah, let's see the comments, 66.
Okay. We can
Okay,
get more.
it's getting there,
But
but
I really think it's gonna be it's something so new, and we are so far only tackling edit mesh mode and pose.
yes,
So for animation, but honestly, so this is the number we have, the 200 and something, and the moment this goes down to 0, we can actually contemplate the idea of also supporting multi-object editing for one editing.
for sculpting, imagine having multiple different
sculpting.
objects and then sculpting through all of them. Amazing.
Texture painting, so you can source the texture from this object and paint it there.
No way, like clown from one object.
For grease pencil.
Grease pencil.
This is after the grease pencil merge. We actually would love to have the grease pencil developers to actually support multi-object edit for the whole 2D pipeline with grease pencil. So I'd say this is only the beginning, and the task force is a way for ourselves to organize the work, but also to welcome new contributors.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
an
awesome.
onboarding thing.
So basically, also every operator has to be ported over for edit mode and post mode so far. So what you see here is 268 a few days ago, and now there's only 221 operators to be ported for edit mode and post mode to work nicely with multiple objects. So the goal is to get that to 0 and move on to other
Different
modes,
modes, huh?
like we were saying. So it's so nice to see. I mean, it goes down, so it's like, oh, that's wrong, that's bad, But no, actually, it's good. It's good. I think we covered everything.
I think we did.
You also did some fixes and everything.
Yeah, bug fixing, and then the Overwrite mockup. We can show which one's really cool.
Do you
But
have it
I'm-
somewhere? Yeah, but no, I mean,
Yeah.
we
But
can.
I'm doing a lot of still a little bit of managing, but luckily things are already on track and everyone knows what to do, and although we are behind in a few things,
Whoa, what?
yeah, we are behind in a few things.
What?
Now you saw the planning that was posted
Yeah, it was posted. It's on
this week.
This week.
I don't know.
What
Last
a week, Jesus.
Was it this week?
I don't know. The weeks go so fast here. It was
April last week.
20. No, that was.
But we didn't mention it in the last live
No,
stream.
it wasn't ready for the live stream. So the whole planning, this is what the developers are actually going to do. Is planned and is posted online.
And we're a little bit behind in a few topics, but that's okay. And I think it's okay. For instance, hair combing and hair editing was supposed to be this week, but Sergey was doing particle fixes, but not related to that. So you can do it next week.
But particle fixes after all, because the Spring team is
Needed.
working, is making. Actually, if you go to Blender, I tweeted with the cloud this beautiful.
Oh, the fix was for this file. Or
I
for
don't
the
know.
grass
It's
field?
just something cute
Oh.
to show, for YouTube to detect
Dogs,
it, and
dogs.
then dogs, cute. Now, this character, for example, this is working in 2.7. It's getting the hair combed and everything, and then they're working on it from the Spring project in the Blender Institute in the south of Amsterdam, and they are finding some bugs because it's a particle system, it's dated, and it has to be,
Maintained. at the very
maintained.
least.
So this is happening actually on master. It's not in Blender 2.8 yet. And of course, all those fixes will be moved to 2.8 when we merge. But
We merge every day, Pablo.
we merge
A
every
few
day.
times a
Never
day.
mind. This is, but you don't have combing in 2.8 yet.
That said, we don't have combing.
Next week. Next
Combing-
live stream, we're going to be combing hair live.
Local view was supposed to be next week, and I think it's going to be a bit delayed because the collection changes. And
Think we're good.
the separation between tools and commands, we wanted to do it already.
Yeah.
Because with the new toolbar, there's a distinction between what's a proper tool and what is something like subdivide. Just press W, and that's a command. So we need to go through the code. But then we're going to catch up. It's okay. We know, we plan just have a big picture and to know if you need to move efforts. But it's all good.
Move the efforts around.
It's the time. It's the time of the live stream.
It is. Yes. We are a bit past, but so we have 20. No, we can compensate. So we are going to move to the questions. So let me scroll. This is how it works. I should scroll all the way up to where we say hi. And I go through the questions that were highlighted and we try to make it as fast as possible. So it's like one word questions. Yes, no, yes, no. So everything seems to be fine. Hello, Pablo. Yes, so that means that it's okay. Checks will work everything nodes for Blender 2.8.
Not really, not in a week at least, but we're definitely going to be talking about that while he stays here.
Okay, next. Will there be bidirectional path tracing or better caustics?
That's not planned.
It's not part of the planning
Not
now.
part of the code quest, but Cycles has its own roadmap, has its own developers. It has always been open for bidirectional support, but it's not there and not part of the code quest.
Okay. When skeletal next. Thank you for the question. When skeletal animation and modifiers will be implemented in Eevee? We already said that, so we can skip. Basically, there are 8-10 modifiers applied now, and we're gonna keep working on it. But how many other in total? Do you know?
So many. I know it's 16 times 2, so 32 plus almost 40. I know because
40.
I manually rolled all of them in the glass.
Yeah. Okay. So there will be. It will take some time.
But if you wanna try, you still need to go and run Blender with a special command, enable
Yes.
copy and write, right?
Yes, when you run Blender on Linux, of course, because the majority of people use Linux,
On Windows
right?
as well,
No?
same
Yes,
thing.
is the same.
Oh yeah, you just
Okay.
need to do blender.exe.
Copy on write. So these are your right. Blender -- copy and write, and that's how you get the modifiers to work, and a very unstable Blender.
It's more unstable. It crashes on linking faces.
Yeah,
and
it crashes on everything basically, but
on the grid fill. Yeah,
yeah.
those
okay.
are fixed actually this week. Next, thanks for the question.
Thanks for the question, Hard 3D. All right, cheers from Brazil. Yay.
Yay! Hi there.
Any chance to find solution to multi-button drag? It's ugly on shining Blender's face for such a long time. It's ugly blemish.
Yeah, it is when you select the dimension and drag vertically and then drag all of them horizontally.
Probably, yeah.
Any chance to find a solution? Yeah, but then we are first focusing on multi-editing as a whole. You select a few objects, not only the mode editing, but select a few objects, and if you change the location, all of them should move. Or if you go and change the camera visibility for this object, should apply for all of the selected objects. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Next, is there any improvements in the video editor?
No.
No. Thanks, Reina, for the questions. Will Eevee? So, well, actually, wait. I have something to say about the video
editor?
sequencer. No, it's the power sequencer in Blender made by the amazing GD Quest user on YouTube. It reached version 1.0, or it's gonna be reached or something like it's. I just saw a video and it's.
What is this?
It's an add-on that makes the sequencer suck less, basically. So
No swearing online.
yes, you should check it out. Google for power sequencer. It's on GitHub. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. So if someone charges you, make sure it's this guy as a donation. And but it changes some shortcuts to make it more friendly. It adds some. It's a bit. It adds some tools for like.
That's pretty cool.
All kinds of things. Check it out. And shout out for GD Quest for making this awesome. And they're going to make tutorials on his YouTube channel.
Nice.
All right, next.
Great work.
Yeah, it's amazing. And besides that, he makes tutorial for Godot. Super good.
Someone asked about the game engine.
Yes.
It's okay. Can you show the wiki of Blender 2.8?
What?
Yeah,
The
because there is a
wiki?
new page there that
How is it the wiki for Blender 2.8? Here? Dev 2.8?
Yeah. So if you go to the Blender 2.8 hub, you go to the backward compatibility. That's a new section there.
It's a new section.
And you go and click on the migration page.
There are many changes. Okay, migration page.
Yeah. And now, if you go to the Blender game engine, you can find a link to the new what we have as far as planning goes for the interactive mode, as well as a link to a few other open source game engines. But this page is also recommended for people coming from the Blender internal. We are actually actively seeking maybe someone to help write a converter from Blender internal to Cycles for 2.7, so people can migrate their 2.7 projects to Cycles and then to Eevee in 2.8.
That would be that's actually something nice. If you want to help out, get in touch. It would be awesome to have a conversion from Blender internal to Eevee and Cycles automatically. That would be awesome. And it's a fun task. Sounds like a fun task.
And for people following the development that are testing Blender, this page basically gives you a guideline to basically what to expect from your blend file perspective. Not from the workflow point of view,
Yeah.
but the changes that you're going to have to do, what's going to be lost, and so and so. Okay, next.
Next, Polly asks, will Eevee support automatic, high-quality, accurate reflections and refractions for the final render without having to use light probes or screen space?
It could be an option.
Really?
Automatically create light probes for every single...
Awesome.
Because it's possible.
Next.
Experimental, but possible.
And Tharemo asks, thoughts on supporting custom modifiers by the community? Wow.
Yes, but you need to submit a patch.
Submit
to code in
patch
C.
are welcome.
Patches are welcome, but not as a plugin system, no.
No, but if you are developing one, you could also, there is a right-click select website where you can get support from the community if you have like a something that you want to contribute and get support from people. It's good to get it out there to get the discussion going. For example, there are many things like here, easy PBR workflow. There's 12 votes. I think it's very clear that people want PBR, and PBR will be PBR and NPR will be
PBR? Everything's PBR already.
Yeah, but there's easy PBR.
That's PBR, okay.
Workflow, painting workflow. So when you're painting, you can paint in.
Oh, yeah, that's...
It's like substance, I guess. Can't name other sustancia in Espanol. Okay, next. Do you plan working on Metabol's workflow for modeling?
I don't think anything changing, but they're going to be working just as we had in 2.7.
No. Yes. Thank Frank.
I think Germano William is converting a lot of this for 2.8.
Yeah.
Call out for him. Yep.
Another Brazilian?
Yeah.
Yes. Good on Latin America. Bone Studio asks, what can we expect of the integration of fracture modifier?
Shortly, Cibran needs to be making sure after we merge and fix the main modifiers, is in the agenda to revisit the fracture modifier. If you go to the planning we had, somewhere in 3 weeks from now, do you still have the planning there?
Oh, sorry, yes, in the code blog.
If you click on the Cibran's column, go to the right, go down.
Here.
You can see somewhere, where is the mouse, the fracture modifier, which means to help the merging to see what's the status of the patch and make sure we can have this in 2.8.
Wow, so if everything goes according to the plan, in the week of June, the second week of June, it should be there. Or should start to work there. Yes, actually this is working. It is not like merge and final and everything. It's like working on it.
Make sure we keep track of this and doesn't forget about it.
Yes.
We don't forget about it. Next.
Thank you, Bon. Will it be possible to change wireframe colors in 2.8?
We don't know yet. Next,
to be defined. Thank you, Kiko. The okay. Ayo, how is the development of the asset manager going?
We have a mockup of the interface. We just need to iterate over it, be sure everyone's happy. The implementation itself is based on Python, or part of this is Python, so we might have someone else that's not part of the code quest helping, but we might have Bastian doing some of this during the code quest. Depends on it's open to discussion, basically.
Yeah.
But we'd like to have.
But in a few weeks, it's planned for William to tackle the design of it. He already made some mockups, but he had to go a bit more in detail. So there should be more mockups and designs in the next couple of weeks.
Because the core itself is almost implemented, the whole thing, but we need the UI for this, and so this is the next.
I think it's mainly about UI because the asset management manager project has been going for years. I remember a couple of Blender conferences ago. It's already been talked about, and it's good hands. Next. And also because Bastien, the developer that's working on it, he was busy with static overrides, which he published today. So
Fantastic.
yes, next. Julio, how is going the development of the... okay, that I already...
Next one.
Thanks.
Will use the 3D objects as icons make Blender UI heavier, Pablo?
No, because...
And if you see the video you published with Campbell icons,
Yes, actually.
you can see a really heavy mesh being used for 3 icons, and you don't see any difference at all. Does it make... No, it doesn't make it slower. Exactly, it's pretty efficient. We have a budget for polygons for each icon, and as long as we keep this on check, it's fine.
Yes, and besides that, it could be like there are ways to cache it, and like there are ways to make it if it's an issue.
Right, next. You need to catch up. There's still
Yes.
reading question from 636.
6:30. Oh, okay. Okay, next. Hash, when will we get real-time ray tracing?
Never, or in a few years when...
In a few years. Come on, it was a demo somewhere from...
with a $10,000 rig
yes.
from ILX.
10,000, yeah, like you get a bunch of graphics card, and if you see a demo on YouTube, you should think about the hardware. It's like, no, they're gonna get it on your laptop soon, so it's not real. Any plans for interactive mode?
We answered that already.
Yes. Hello, Troy Sobotka in Twitter is concerned about using extensive sRGB converting in Blender.
We are aware of this. Actually, I know Troy personally back in Vancouver, and the developers here are not. We know that we need to have a proper hand on color pipeline, and we're doing the best we can, and we're gonna keep doing the best we can, and we just cannot prioritize every single thing for 2.8 and for the Code Quest. Next.
Can you make new icons as images instead of design? Yes, we are using both actually, but there is no such a big performance hit. So next. What actually in some cases it's even faster to do it with OpenGL than to do it with actual icons, icon images.
Yeah. It's OpenGL either way, but to actually draw the geometry, it can be super optimized in the Blender.
Yes,
as you have it.
It was one case was the keyframes. Some years ago, it used to be an icon of the keyframe. Like an actual image icon, and that was replaced for OpenGL because the icon was really just like a shape.
I hate those because it's so hard to maintain.
Yes.
Yeah, because then there's a bunch of code to draw something that's to be visual, and then draw a few times so it's anti-aliased.
But thanks to that, you can now theme it. You can change the color, and it updates live, the color of the keyframes.
No, but now we have the best of both worlds because it's efficient, it's geometry based, but you can also see the geometry as a blend file. So
perfect. Next, Ethan asks, what speed improvements do you get by using cycles Embry, and does the branch work?
And what?
Embry.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not following the latest cycle development.
Next, with all those fancy UI modifications, will there be a standard old school style UI version? No.
It's called Blender 2.7.
No, I mean the Blender UI is still so super flexible, and the Blender 101 project is to make it easy for people to custom their interface. So if you don't like something, you can just move the buttons around as easy as it was before, or even easier with the Blender 101 project. Yeah, next.
Yeah, I'm just people being happy with the videos, and they want us to be overwhelming, so keep posting a lot of videos. Hi, Kadu.
The more videos, the better. Thank you. I didn't see that one. Thank you, Paulie. I will make more. I personally want you to be overwhelming. Thank you.
150K was the rig they used for the real-time ray tracer. I said 10K. That's ridiculous. Yeah, 150K.
For the Star Wars short movie. Yes. Yeah, you're not gonna get it on your AMD.
We can retire with this kind of money.
With this one fire, yeah, you can buy a nice
Somewhere
place.
in the world.
When will we getting the shadows in the workbench? They're there.
They're there.
Actually, they were in the workbench branch, but since today, you can get it in the Blender 2.8 branch, the one that is built automatically. I don't know if it's built already in the build bot.
No, it's every night.
It's every night. So wait until tonight or tomorrow, wake up early and use the shadows in the Blender 2.8 from Builder. Well, if you're watching this, you're probably a nerd like us, checking the download pages. Oh, by the way,
What?
the usage of this page doubled since the beginning of the call quest.
That's
There's
nice.
twice as many people checking out. It's just funny. Next. Interactive mode we mentioned. Greetings from Colombia.
Hola.
Any news about the Grease Pencil in 2.8?
Yes, we are working with the Grease Pencil core development team to merge this as soon as possible. We already migrated the old palette system to. We mentioned this last time. 2 weeks ago.
We mentioned.
But this is already implemented. Some of the modifiers were already ported to the new modifier system.
There's even UI fixes done by fixes and tweaks done with Willem working together with the other designers. So there is the one we're gonna get is much.
We expect this week to have another round of review from the developers.
Yes.
Probably Campbell and Bastien.
And merge should happen within a month.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Okay, next. Is EVNG going to speed up an output render process? Yeah, because you can render F12 with Eevee. Faster, doesn't get faster than that. What text editor do you use for code and what language?
I use Qt Creator, and in Blender we use C, C++, and Python. But for Python, I usually use either VI or PyCharm.
Okay, next. Thank you. What about Auto Face Map add-on? It works. I tested it. I tested it in the workbench.
Like automatically?
Yeah, it's called Face Map add-on, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. So next, it's actually built in with Blender, so you should check it out. What happened to you people after the cold quest? Disappears. Holidays? No, I don't know. Yeah, that happens. Drinking, a lot of drinking. No.
World Cup, that's what happens.
The World Cup.
July, the second part of the World Cup. I missed the first one to be here.
You don't miss it. You're here. Come on, we can both go watch it too.
Well, but some people are going to be in Amsterdam. Some people are going to be working remotely. Some people are going to be minding their own business, I guess.
And some people are going to stay here because a part of the team, Sivren, Sergey, and me, Anton, we stay here. We live in Amsterdam, so we're going to stay here forever and ever in this prison.
One day. I still don't know what I'm going to be doing. We'll see. World Cup.
Why don't you stay? Why don't you stay over?
Tell that to Sarah. Next.
Will Eevee support shader animation?
What is shader animation?
Like engines do, like Godot engine added new animation.
You can animate parameters in Eevee already, I think. It should, yes.
Yes, you should be. And Massimo, should it be nice if collection or father or parent can transmit any modification to the material or childs? Yes, with overrides. Collection overrides. And we have that.
Yeah, it's different, but yes.
Sort of. Next, will the materials made in Eevee and Cycles export to Unity?
Talk to the Unity guys, not us.
Ask the Unity people. They have money.
Over and
they
over
have
and over
time.
again,
They have a huge community. Blender and anyway, we keep repeating it. But instead of asking the Blender people to work for Unity, ask the Unity to work for Blender.
And we replied this last live stream as well. The whole pipeline in Cycles and Eevee is PBR compatible. Unity has PBR compatibility in their pipeline. Should be doable.
Yes. Next, Kiko. Will it be possible to parent objects dragging in the outliner? Yes, you can do it already. You can drag and drop objects and they will parent to each other. Next, one thing I missed from 279 is changing visibility of objects with the toggle in the outliner.
It was great for animation?
Yeah, you
couldn't animate that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, I couldn't animate the layer.
You can layer, yeah, exactly.
I remember having to animate layer. Had to do an add-on for that.
Can we expect that to be able in the 2.8 series?
Not for objects, but for collections, yes, for sure.
We'll get back to you in a few months. Next, will you increase the amount of polygons in the 3D view?
Well, the first goal is to have a performance that as good as 2.7, but with the current design, hopefully, we can actually tackle the sculpting performance isolated from edit mesh performance from everything else.
Yes.
This is one of the benefits of the new design, the separation between the modes.
And everything, yes. I just want to have a nice graphic here.
Oh, okay.
While because so people can see the questions they're asking, because my English is far from good at this time of the day.
Mine's gooder. Carry on.
Yes. So is it how to
Any
move
plans?
the father to the parent? Yes.
This is one.
No, I was actually also this thing should be keyframeable, the parent to child, and you can do it with the child of constraint. Next, are there any plans to add light linking functionality in Cycles or Eevee?
What is light linking?
Next.
I think so, yeah. If you link an object that's a light, it will just lead to
It
your
should be,
scene.
yeah. Or maybe limiting to a group. Yeah, you can do that in Eevee now.
Speaking of the parenting, have you used in the blending game engine the set parent actuator?
No.
I
Oh, yeah, I
was-
have, back in the day.
I was so happy when they did it because I had a Ruby Cube project and I really needed some dynamic parenting to solve it. And now it's gone. There's no more game engine.
That's why. Don't bring it up.
What
It's
good
a sad
memories. I have so
moment.
many good memories.
It's like, oh, remember how cool was the Blender game? Anyway,
Good
that
times.
is sad. Next. I would like to know for the new 2.8, what is going to be the specs of the machine to render Blender?
You need a computer with a GPU that runs.
OpenGL 3.3. And the rest, just like always. The more cores, the better. The more RAM, the better. The more everything, the better. Next. Hey, can you guys please improve the lattice modifier?
Not for the Code Quest. Next.
Animation layers can be possible how soon?
Not,
For the
don't
Code
know.
Quest.
Not for the Code Quest.
Not yet. NPR improvements, yes.
Yes, it's coming. There's a patch and discussion about allowing non-PBR pipeline with Eevee and Cycles, maybe, but
Yes.
Eevee at first. So basically, you can take a shader, you can split these into colors, and then put again in your pipeline. It's a bit confused to explain, but it
Yes.
works. It's gonna work fine.
It's
and,
gonna work fine, and it's gonna be implemented first for Eevee. So imagine now Eevee is the one getting all the NPR stuff first, and then Cycle. So
It's gonna look pretty good.
good. Next, and a big, yeah, the NPR community is so big and so passionate about it, and it's happy to have this. And actually, this patch is not because suddenly here someone, hey, let's do NPR. This was from the community. A developer contributed a patch. So it's coming from the community and it's being reviewed by Clement and by everyone, but it's coming from the community.
And there are 2 developers involved on this.
2 different people
I think they're both Japanese. if I'm
made
not- if I'm not
2
mistaken.
Japanese developers,
I think.
completely different people. They provided patches for this, like a piece of code to make it happen. So that's how that development happened. Maybe the last time when people were asking about NPR, we were more like, yeah, it would be nice at some point. But now, thanks to the community, it is happening. This is the dynamics of open source. Next. Does static override help on the new asset manager to import assets from other blend files? Yes.
Yes.
Next. Will we have some new modifiers like weld?
No, not at first.
Next. Have you any news from NPR in
Yes,
Eevee?
we did.
You
Just roll back a
mentioned.
few minutes ago.
Why is it called Eevee? Next. Can a rig character be animated in Eevee yet?
We talked about this
Yes,
extensively.
it's the modifiers, not yet. I have an integrated CPU i5. With edit mode, get too close to the object I'm editing, Blender freezes. If you're talking about 2.8, it's under development.
Yes, maybe maybe the problem is the driver, but let's see. But closer to the final release,
Yeah.
everyone updates their drivers, and actually, if you go to the planning as well, in a month and a half, we actually are planning to do some GPU optimization or GPU performance optimization because we have so many
Right, who?
go down.
Ah.
We have down is Brecht and Clement. We have so many different computers here that it would be a shame not to try every single feature of Eevee in Blender 2.8 in everyone's computer, so we can debug and make sure why it's crashing and what you can do to fix that. Next.
Next. Udim starts from U dimension. Awesome.
But what's universal? Next.
Next. Love from India. Love to India from here.
Wow.
Next. Since Udim is about to come to Blender, do you guys also discuss about multi-channel painting? No, not yet.
Not
Next.
specifically, yeah.
Not
But we'd
specifically,
like to have.
Would
for
be
sure.
would be awesome, and actually would be freaking awesome to have it. It's not like next week. Next, have you ever thought about allowing viewport camera to use a 3D cursor as a pivot point?
I never thought about that.
3D cursor, the camera to use the 3D
Camera.
cursor as a pivot point. Yeah, just add an empty. Pattern.
Yeah.
Next, will Jack's look be working on animation nodes or anything in Blender?
We don't even know yet. It's we see. Just want to have him around, get him
Yeah.
to know the core team, and then we see how we can get him involved in the project more and more.
Or move to Amsterdam. Next, would you add some new modifiers and pre-built objects like in 3D Max? No.
We might get a parametric object But this is not a modifier.
Oh wow!
But it's
Yeah,
almost.
this is you can't just say like, oh yeah, we might have parametric
At
options.
7:30, like
Yeah,
45
yeah.
minutes of the second half of the game.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you can. But
A teaser,
there
a
is-
teaser for the days to come.
it was mentioned, I heard, parametric objects.
Primitives.
Primitives.
Parametric
Yeah. So
primitives.
you add a sphere, you change the size, you add a material, you keep using it, and then you can keep changing the size and the data after you edit it. Except when you go edit mode and you edit your own, of course. Next. The next.
Controversial opinion about the Blender UI.
The work is great. It looks, in my own opinion, that it gives Blender a cheap look. Oh yeah, you should actually, new icons are coming. Flat, isometric view, so not 3D perspective, and custom colors for the accents. So, bam! People were complaining. People were complaining about the shadows, gone, because it will be flat. People were complaining about the perspective, gone, because it will be
I didn't even know that. Okay.
And,
for the tools or for every single icon?
For the tool, like the ones that people complain about now. And the people were complaining about the colors, and they will be themable. There's no work done yet on that.
You can make it ugly all by yourself.
You can make it your own ugly icons with maybe a base color, an accent color, and one for the states. Next. But since I'm here, I see that you put the mode switcher back in the viewport. Since it is a global setting, why not put it in the top right beside the scene and layers? Because it is global, but it's not always used. It's not always, if you're doing motion tracking, if you're doing video sequence editor, you don't need that there.
And this is one of the experimental things, just like hiding the 3D cursor. The reason is that we wanted also it to be very close to the option to select vertex or edge or face when you're mesh editing. This was one of the main reasons.
Yes.
But we're trying it. We're going to try for this week. I'm going to see next week. Maybe put back up.
Next.
With maybe these options. Next.
Yes. Does Eevee support only SDR, HDR images?
So I have to read to understand.
SDR, HDRI.
No.
Next. Thanks to all developers. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Pablo.
No, I'm not a developer. I'm just the YouTube dude. What about background images?
What about then?
They will be used empty.
I think they should be using empties.
Yes, you can use that already. Add empty. Yeah.
No, just drag a image to the 3D viewport, and then it's gonna show up as an empty.
Wow,
I
awesome.
think since
Dropping
2.7.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Are you guys considering improvements on the functionality of the 3D cursor? Yes, we just mentioned. Next, there will be a video coming soon. I heard about the drop-down menus for switching the toolbar, but power user prefer the more directly way of tab and panels.
Well, power users won't be really clicking on icons, so it doesn't matter in that sense.
Yeah,
You're gonna
power
be using
users use shortcuts,
Yeah.
and that won't change. A
And
power
they,
user,
they close their eyes to work, and then they
power
can't.
users, we don't. We just. Anyway,
campus
the,
keyboard. Oh my god.
whole point of Blender 2.8 is to keep it as fast as possible, even faster for power users, and also accessible for new users. So it's the best of both worlds. We are using Blender every day as a power user, you could say. I mean, using Blender forever. So we are not gonna make it any slower. What do you guys think about paint mode upgrade?
Will be more than welcome, just not part of the scope of the
But just
the podcast.
welcome. Next. The 3D cursor should be kind of, okay, that's more of a comment. Next. PBR brush. Next. It's not a question. Is it possible to make the default Bezier curve more regular?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a whole discussion about the defaults.
Yeah, there is a discussion about in Blender 2.8 defaults.
This totally applies to that, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Will there be a way to directly modify object origins? Not for during the call quest. No, at least not immediately. I haven't seen it, but there.
Someone was commenting on my Oreo package.
Yes, because
Recycling.
why using clear paper? Just recycle. Next. The scroll wheel to source drop down is not as fast if you don't know what you're looking for. You can expand the
editor
buttons.
type?
Yeah, it's the editor type, I think, but it wasn't specified.
I hate the editor type.
Collections are replacing groups. Yes. Next. It's hard for tablet users to replicate mouse wheel. Okay, that's a discussion.
How about keeping
the toolbar, all toolbar, and you combine together as a setting. No,
There's too many. No,
like
we
you will
don't
have
want
both,
settings.
and then where do things go? To one or the other, or
And you want less settings. You want a nice default and Blender that works for 90% of people. You don't want
Yeah.
a lot of options really.
will you build Blender 2.8 for Android?
No. Well,
No.
no.
There was a build some years ago of Blender for Android. I actually had it on my phone, but it's just a huge amount of work for something that it's just.
You can always say that the switch to the OpenGL core profile makes it easier.
Oh yeah, it's actually easier. So if you're a developer,
No, because it's
Get in
compatible
touch.
with the OpenGL ES too. But
Yes.
that's all.
next, why is filming not working with Eevee? Yes, it is working. It should be working, right?
It should be working. If it's not,
Filmic,
it's a bug.
if it's not, then don't report it because bugs are not open yet. But we will check. But it should Filmic should work with Eevee since for a year now.
I'll check on Monday though. So-
Can Blender 2.8 run in the browser?
No. Next.
Release date. It's on blender.org/2.8/quest. Is there something? Well, okay, I think we are past 10 minutes of the start. So let's say
If you want
10,
to go.
15 questions.
Okay. All right.
Let's do 15 questions.
Okay.
The last,
Is there?
or 20 questions. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Let's see. Okay.
We're probably reaching. Maybe there's no more questions anymore. Okay, maybe we're offline. People, are we online? Like, just let me quickly check. Yeah, we're streaming. Just saying. It happened before. Next. Is there something in the list to improve UV packing?
No, but there is Udim. So
Will you be adding new modifiers similar to 3ds
we
Max?
talked about that.
Yes.
It
No,
might be
why?
the same person repeating the same question over and over again.
Why similar to Max? Let's make new ones.
Who cares
Let's
about
make our own.
Max? I use Max in my university.
Any updates on Grease Pencil? Yes, we made it. The Hero movie was amazing. Yes, that is thanks to Daniel Martinez Lares and his team in Barcelona.
And the team of developers.
Yes, and I think I reached the moment where I scrolled and then YouTube scrolls all the way down. So I lost where I was.
Okay, we can keep talking about the weather.
Yes.
Do you have any plans for the weekend?
Or I should start from the bottom
From the
up.
bottom up, and then when
Yeah,
you
but
hit
that will
10
be-
questions, but that's okay.
That's unfair for people. Okay, let's do
happens.
it from the bottom up. You guys should add Grease Pencil functionality in the sequence editor. It's already there.
Not in 2.8 though, because
Holy-
annotation system hasn't been ported to 2.8 yet,
But it will be.
but will be.
Yes, next. But it works in 2.7.
No, next, previous.
Previous. That's really great what you're doing for the Blender icons. Does it display below the shortcut? It will. Not now, but it will. The tooltips for the toolbar, they're a bit weird now.
I love how they look. I love the thick lines. I just like the overall work. Haters gonna hate, but
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
like it.
change. And also it will be possible to change the way they look with this video, actually, the one with the Campbell icons, where it explains a little bit. But basically there is a script in the source of Blender where it can be run, so you need to get the Blender source. So yeah, it's more for developer add-on developers, more technical. Next, previous. Would it be possible to export to OBJ?
yes, of course. Although Eevee materials, I don't know how it's gonna happen.
I don't know, but it
We'll
will be
see.
possible. Yes,
Possible.
yes. It is possible now. Every add-on that is on Blender 2, officially built in Blender, will be ported to Blender 2.8.
I'm not sure about materials, but we'll see. We'll see.
Would it be possible to see editing measurements live in Blender without add-ons?
Yes, it's already possible. It is one of the tools.
Yes, but it
But
would be great
not-
to have like a Archipack or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, like built in Blender.
Yeah.
If you're the Archipack developer, get in touch. Next. Would it be possible to create rotational values for the 3D cursor? Yes, that's what it was planned, and stay tuned for a video about it. Next. Any new modeling features?
Well, multi-object modeling.
Multi-object
that's so new and so fancy and cool.
Yes, next. Previous. Do you think that Mark Zuckerberg is a robot or a lizard? Lizard.
A genius. An evil genius, maybe, but a genius regardless.
Previous. Will multiple graphic cards run Eevee in the 3D view?
Yeah, nope, not yet. I know. I asked Clement about that. I forgot the answer. So far, no.
Okay.
All right.
Was an AppVGE going to work with 2.8 devs to bring back the Blender game engine?
Well, we should ask
RPG?
Not. There's. I don't know. I mean, depends on. I don't know if the RPG is being maintained. I know there's a new the catchy engine project.
Yeah.
There's a fork of the RPG.
Verge 3D.
This is an
There's
ongoing
a few
discussion.
options.
It's not a short answer for.
But I don't know. Like the fork can happen any. Everybody's free to fork Blender. Is there plans in the future to add lights management tabs in window?
I don't even
Asset
know.
manager. The asset manager. Yeah, lights management. I made an add-on for that in Amaranth.
Oh.
But with the new asset manager, maybe something better can be achieved to manage all your lights and change the settings and stuff. Next, previous. I don't know. I'm losing count. Are you counting? Let's do the last 10. Let's do 10 more.
I'd say change the image here so people have to look at Campbell all the time.
Oh, but the Campbell, it's
I
nice.
know, but it's not moving.
Okay, so let's
look at me in the background.
There you go. Okay, let's get the last. Let's do 10
5.
more.
Last 5.
5. Well, I think we did too many.
Generous 5. Okay, so let's see.
General 5. Okay. Fracture modifier, animation nodes, and flip be built in.
A fracture modifier, yes. Animation nodes, we don't know.
Maybe.
Flip, I have no idea what it is.
I don't know, flip. Collaborate in Blender, would it be possible? Not for the Call Quest. This is the Call Quest Live, so we try to
focus on it.
Focus
It's like
on
the
it.
verse Blender thing.
Yes. Will there be another way to make a halo shader since the internal is gone?
I don't know. We got the artist here.
Volumetrics with volumes, yes.
In fractals, did you see the video? On
The
on
fractals,
Eevee?
yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
If you haven't seen it, go check on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just Twitter. It's very global, but you could go to hashtag B3D. So, 4 left. Is there any chance of exposing the undo history in the Python API?
I think it's already possible. It's already exposed. Oh, you can manually push something to the undo system. I don't know if you can read back from it. So I don't know what you mean by your question. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
3 questions left. Any plans about Blender Store inside Blender? Yes, we are at the Blender building, and there is so much room here for activities that one of them maybe could be fun because the place is in a shopping mall area, so the place has a license to put stuff like to sell, like to put things on the street even. So maybe we can put like Blender t-shirts, and you could come and buy Blender stuff if you're in Amsterdam.
That's
Can
handy,
come
yeah.
and see. It's amazing because then you can also there is a place for training. There is already some dates talking about when it could start, but it's more towards the end of the year. I don't want to give any dates because it's not official, but basically this building will have everything. It's just the Blender building because it's not anymore it's just the Blender building with training, production, movie productions, research and development, right? And the store.
And communication. I don't know. How do you call this?
And PR, I guess. Yeah, no.
Outreach.
Outreach. So all the production, the training, and the everything will happen here.
So big. There's room for everything. Awesome.
Okay, 3 more questions left. Would you say Blender is better for animating than other softwares like Maya? I've never used Maya, so I can't say. Next, is dynamic tessellation finally getting out of experimental?
I have no idea. Probably not during the Code Quest. I don't think anyone is looking at that. Sorry.
2 more. Will you be able to render out with the Workbench engine renderer? Yes. OpenGL render, like the viewport.
Yeah, maybe it'd be nice to have a. Yeah, there's still something to be explored about that, but yes.
Yes. And the last question: what about the Substance Live link? Again,
What is this?
I think it's a thing to connect Substance Painter or Substance whatever the designer with another software live, like you can edit in Photoshop and you have this there or something like that. So again, ask the big guys, not the small guys.
There's so many good questions we cannot answer.
Like
So
why?
sad.
What?
Well, about the GLTF exporters, someone was working on it, a developer. So
GLTF.
maybe we're gonna have some answer for that. Someone asking about the possibility of having a viewport and a render mesh, so mesh swapping. We don't have this, but we have different collections that may work only for the final render or for the viewport. So it's similar. And there's always so many questions.
There is so many
Really,
questions
really.
that we
I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, we should wrap it up because it's almost 8 p.m. here. Even the lighting in the place changed. So it's been actually pretty fun. We are in a separate part of the building, so it was a bit of an experiment. I'm using my laptop still, but hopefully we can get a computer dedicated for this.
It's more relaxed here, I think.
It's more relaxed. Last time there was people around, now there's no one. Ton came, took a picture for Twitter, you probably seen it.
And it's cold. That's why it's cold here.
It's cold.
okay.
Yeah, but that's good. Keeps you awake. If it was warm and the beer, you don't want that. So I think we are good too. We're just talking all kinds of things. Thank you everyone for staying here, for hanging out with us. It's been a great time. It's been 2 weeks since the last. It went so fast. We're gonna meet again in 2 weeks. That is on the 18th of May.
Maybe we do on the 17th. I'm planning to be away on the 18th. So we'll see. Or maybe get someone else. I don't know.
Maybe
we'll see.
Okay, maybe.
But of the white Monday holiday.
There is a holiday.
I want to visit my brother
Nice in
Germany. Yep.
Cool. That's Europe. Everything is close.
Yeah.
We're not used to that. We're from South America. You have to travel for hours to get anywhere. All right. I think we are off topic a bit, but stay tuned for the next live stream. We are gonna be answering questions all the time. Follow Blender and Blender developers. Remember that the Blender developers is all you're in the Blender developers channel, but remember we are also on Twitter and Facebook and publishing everywhere. All super hardcore development stuff. We are gonna keep trying to make a video every day or maybe every 2 days.
Few videos every week.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna keep
But
going.
it's just so exciting to be here. In a couple of months, you're gonna leave,
Yeah.
and it's just gonna be making videos of what? Spring? Renders are too slow. Development goes much faster.
There's always going to be something you can talk about.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think there's going to be interesting things happening here. Now that there's a new building, now that 2.8 is going to be even more close to be officially released. I mean, it's just a great time to be involved with Blender. I think for everyone, for the community, following the project, for the developers, for... I know it's
wow.
so nice.
Yes. And the next live stream is exactly the day when the spring team comes to the building. They're now in the south of the Netherlands. They will come and they will switch. The moment they step on this building, they will start using Blender 2.8 for production.
Maybe that's yet another reason to do it the day before.
To do it the day before, yes. And in the planning, there is like a week of disasters, of fixing everything. And then that's when the real thing will start. Now it's like holidays. Now it's like...
It's going to be good to be working in the same building with the people working with Spring and using 2.8
every day.
Every single day. I can't wait, actually.
I can't really wait. It will be amazing. People using like a team of... it's an open movie happening using Blender every day. Blender 2.8. So then I think the development will go even faster, especially on the... like bringing back all other functions or working on performance to make everything faster. So we should try to squeeze in as many new features now as possible. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Follow Blender developers and yes, just stay up to date. It's so exciting and thank you for the support. Every video that we publish gets like so many comments and support. This is happening thanks to the community that supported the project, that supported us by getting the rocket in Blender Developer that actually is gonna be shipping now. Actually, it's gonna be shipping in the second week of
very soon.
May.
With interesting files.
But today, actually, it was sent. Like all the rockets are coming to the Netherlands to be shipped. Wow. So that is so exciting. If you want one, you can still get it. There is 138 rockets left, so you can still get yours. And it's
wow, we sold over 3,000 rockets.
Yes, it's just crazy. So go to store.blender.org if you want to get yours. And it's all donated to the open to the open project. Open Movie. It's not Open Movies.
The Code Quest and the Blender Development.
The Blender Development. Goes to the Blender Development. and I hope we are delivering with all the updates.
And maybe you can write in the comments after the live stream, if you're watching it after the live stream, what you're looking for in 2.8,
Yes.
and what we can cover in the next video, because you're always reading I always read the comments.
I read every comment.
I watched the live twice, so I watch it again. So I watch it tonight or tomorrow to see all the live comments that we missed because you only saw the questions. So
Yeah.
just put your heart on it. You're going to be reading it. Might not be replied because there's so many, but yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank
And
you
I
very
will
much.
see you again in 2 weeks. Or
Success.
unless you follow the other media that I'm not going to plug because I'm not ashamed.
No, that's...
But we're all over the place. Stay tuned. And
Until then.
until then.